Hello everyone, Paul here from the Pin Academy. So we have given you guys the chance to always ask us for anything that you need clarity on. And one of the things that has popped out many times, and I want to address it today is the issue of scalping and doing intraday because they require small time frames. Because most of the videos that we put up on our channel is usually using big time frames. So I've always mentioned to those guys who are following us on our social media platforms, the team has always informed you that the knowledge or the skill that we use is the same. You just have to change it to the type of trader you are. If you're a swing trader, use the swing trading timeframes. If you're an intraday, use the intraday timeframes. But today, we'd like to do it practically so that maybe it can help guide you with ease, right? So let's hold your hand. Just follow along until the end so that maybe you can understand. We're going to do it in a different way today. I'm going to show you a trade that already played out. Then I'm going to give you like an exercise so that you can take it and you'll give us feedback how it played out. Because trading is a practical thing. It's not about stories just. So I'm going to first give you the rules. I'm just going to remind you of the rules, right? So the first rule is you need to have a time frame where you're going to get your direction from, right? Then number two, you need to have a time frame which is going to give you a structure. Now, in this case, if you want to do intraday, you have to have a time frame of a time frame going to give you structure for intraday. And then number three, you have to have a time frame that is going to give you a scalping structure in case you want to scalp. Now, remember, you're not going to do all of them, so you have to choose intraday or scalping. But I'm going to give you both the time frames, and it is up to you to choose, right? Now, we have been used to our direction as being done in monthly, right? And then we have structure for swing in weekly, and then structure for intraday in daily. But today we are going to change it, right? How are we going to change it? Today, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the daily. We're going to start from a daily time frame. We're going to map out our immediate turning point, both up and down. What do I mean by that? I'll just clear this. Let me just clear this. I'm going to use this trade that has already played out so that you can see how it is. Then I will take you through a setup that is most likely going to play out, probably going to play out. Then you take it as your exercise, right? So one or two exercises to make more sense to you. So let's, like I've said, I'm going to start from the daily time frame. What we're interested in is, for example, how this trade, we worked on this trade is, I'm just going to replay, allow me to replay before we go to the exercise part of the live trade, right? So I've said that you have to first identify the immediate turning points. For example, we have this one here, and then which one is the other immediate turning point that you have? We have this area here. So what are we going to do? I'm just going to mark this area here. So I've identified two turning points. Like I've said, let me just repeat. You need a time frame to give you direction. You need a time frame to give you an intraday structure, another one for scalping. So these are two different types of people, scalpers and intraday. But the steps are the same. Just you're going to differentiate whereby you say I'm choosing scalping or intraday, but the steps are just the same, right? So the first one, I've said that you start from daily. You're not going to do anything in daily besides marking two turning points. The first turning point is going to be the upper one, which is going to act as your resistance. Then the down one is going to act as your support. Immediate one, don't even look far. Just look at the immediate turning point on your left. So our immediate turning point up here on our left is this one. The down one on our left is this one here. So we're done with that, right? Now, the next thing is now let's start our process. We have said we need a direction or time frame, which we're saying we're going to start our direction from H4. Remember, we have said we need direction. This time around, our direction is not monthly. This time around, our direction is where? Is H4. We need a direction. Now, if you observe, the market is moving lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. So you can see this level here has been broken and not tested. Are you getting it? The purpose of us marking those timeframes in the daily time frame is we need clarity. We don't need to gamble around. We need clarity of levels that we're going to use for both our entry level and also our target level. We don't need to gamble. Even if we're going to be in the market for a short time, make sure in the market for the right reasons. Are we together? So you can see that this is a target that the market broke this turning point here, but it never tested it. So this is going to be your target on the market because right now we're going downwards, but we wanted to touch this point so that we can go and retest up here. It will be our target. This will be our area of interest. This will be our target. So H4 has already given us direction. H4 is telling us that, hey, when the market reaches here, we need to go upwards. Now, these levels, we got them from the daily time frame, so we have to make them a bit more neat. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to adjust it nicely like this so that it's not so big. You know, when it's so big, you will not be able to get the levels clearly. So you can see I'm done with that. H4, we've already gotten the direction. We're coming down here and then going up. So Do not engage in a trade in between. I've always emphasized that. I'm going to stress it again. Please do not engage in a trade in between levels that you've marked. Wait either for you to go back here. If the trade comes back here, then we know that we're going to take our trade up to down. If the trade continues down here, we know that we're going to be looking for buys up to here. So our direction is clear, right? We've already identified direction. If the price comes back to this red line, we're looking for change of trend downwards. If the price comes first down here, we shall be looking for the movement back upwards. Hope we are clear. Now, the next thing we're going to do is now we're getting the structure for intraday or scalping. So now the structure of intraday is going to be in H1. Now, if you come to H1, what are we going to do? We're not going to play around with these levels that we have marked. Rather, we're just going to adjust and confirm. So if I come to H1, you can clearly see also we have a turning point here that the market broke and never tested. Now, if the market had other turning points, we would be adjusting to make sure that it is aligning with this level here. So here you can see this was a very strong turning point that pushed price upwards, and the market just broke it down and never tested it, which we need the market to do, test, right? And also we have to confirm the lower one that, okay, was this level really significant? Yes, this level here pushed the market right up to making this high like this, then the market continued higher. So this level is very, very strong. There's a lot of demand into this, in this area here. So our H1 structure is intact. And also H1, we're still going downwards, which confirms that we need the market first touch down here before we can buy to this level here. So H1 structure is intact, but we shall need it to first touch inside here. Now, we also have to check our scalping time structure time frame. Now, in this case, it's not going to be a bigger time. It's going to be lower. So it's going to be minute 30. Are we together? So also when you come to minute 30, you can clearly see the market is going downward. So all of them are suggesting that we need to first touch down here before we can go upwards. Now, remember, scalpers are into the market for a few minutes, not like intraday. Intraday can hold for hours, but scalpers are into the market for a few minutes. So scalpers, we're going to add in more levels. So I'm just going to look into these levels and see which other levels are within here. So when the market comes down here, you can clearly see that we have another level here that the market broke downwards. And I'm just going to change for scalpers. It will be blue. Let me just make it blue for scalpers. So we have that level. Excuse me. When the market goes down, we have that level. Remember, we're marking structures now for scalpers. So I'm just going to adjust this level here, just slightly a bit higher here. So you can clearly see this. We have this level here, and also I'm going to have this level here. We're just marking turning points as our targets. As when we touch down here, when we're coming up, these will be our targets, and also this one. In case you're scalping, you can scalp from here up to here, or you can scalp from here up to here. Let me just do a recap, a reminder for those who have just been skipping the video, which I don't advise. In case you've skipped up to this point, 1, mark the level in daily. Now, daily, we're not using it for anything, just marking it for the immediate turning point. Then when you go to H4, we're looking for the direction. How is the price moving? If the market is moving down, for example, if you look at H4 here, clearly this market is moving down, meaning that we want it to first hit this turning point down here, then we can come to this turning point up. Are you getting it? Because this turning point is not tested. It's how we identified it in daily. Now, H1 agrees with that. So we're just looking to confirm and align these levels that we have marked. And you can clearly see H1 agrees with that. So there's nothing to adjust. It's nicely aligning, right? Then we came to minute 30 to get the structure for the scalper. So we marked some levels here, this turning point and this turning point, which is very significant. Why significant? Because the market broke this level here, reacted to it and broke it above, and again broke down. So it's consolidating here. So when you break down, this zone here will be an important zone. So if you're taking a trade from here, your first target as a scalper should be this area here. So when you break again, you'll have another trade. Remember, scalpers are in trades for minutes. I don't go to hold for very long. So you've already determined 2 levels as a scalper where you're going to trade. So you've already made your structure. Just observe, the chart is very clean. You're trading using pure price action. No indicators, no nothing. Now, what is next? Since we have said that H4 is for direction, but the structure, as an intraday, we're using H1. And then we're saying that for scalpers, we're using minute 30, right? So what is your entry going to be? You have to skip 1, minute 15 here. So meaning your entry is going to be minute 5. Here, you're going to skip minute 30, meaning your entry is going to be minute 15 as an intraday. So this is for intraday. This is for the scalpers. And we are done. So you're done. You write down your plan. You're like, if the market comes here and changes trend, and we're going to look into that, how we took this trade, and then you take your trade. Now, you're going to take this trade depending on your decision. Are you going to scalp? If you're going to scalp, this is what you're going to use. If you're going to do intraday, this is what you're going to use. Meaning this is your entry time frame. Here, this is your entry time frame. So we are done with that. Now let's go into, let's first go back and we wait for the price to touch here, because we got this as direction from H4. So we want the price to first touch here or to touch the red line so that we can continue. But the rule says that the market has to first touch here. So the market touched here and a bit went. So we're waiting for the candle to close, and it has closed, right? So we have said that our entry is going to be, if you want to do intraday, your entry is going to be in H1. So here in H1, you can clearly see that the market is making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? Then lower high. So I am interested in the market stopping to make lower lows and lower highs. So the moment it stops making that, that's when I'm going to take my trade. But remember, as an intraday trader, my interest is this target here. As a scalper, my interest is this, but the time frame is different. So this is for intraday. So I'm going to mark just a level here above this area here where price is currently. Let me change it to yellow. Yellow is for intraday level to take the trade. When the market breaks above here, I'm taking my trade up to this level here. Then I'll come to minute 30 and I observe. Minute 30 also is giving me the same vibe. Actually, minute 30 is saying that if the market can give us a pullback up to this area here, we could be able to take our trades, right? But remember, the entry for a scalper is, we have said it is minute 5. Then the entry for an intraday is minute 15. So I'm just going to use intraday. I'm not going to use scalping, but let me use intraday. Though I've given you the steps, right? You can use this method for both scalping and intraday. I've just showed you both methods. Don't be lazy, please. Practice, the same method, the same thing. It's the same trading style, guys. We're not just here for views. We're giving exactly how we trade. That's why you see every video we're showing you the same trading style. We're not going to make videos on this because we're just looking for content. No, we're showing exactly how we trade consistently. And if you want to become a consistent trader, make sure you find one way of trading and master it. Find the faults, correct them here and there, back test here and there, correct what you have seen that could work, leave out what you think does not work, and then your journey to consistency will be short. It's exactly what we're doing here. So let me go back to H1 since I'm going to use intraday. So the moment the market closes above there, I'm going to be taking my trade. You can see it's a bit reacting. So not yet. Not yet. So scalpers, when the market comes here, you can start looking for your entry in your minute 5. But personally, I'm not interested in that yet. So I'm just going to wait for the market to go. So scalpers, you see it has tapped into your zone, but I'm just going to wait for my turn as an intraday trader. So here the market went up a bit aggressively. Actually, I should have taken my trade around this area here when the market closed above here, right? This is where personally my entry was around here. So if you want, you can refine. So sorry, if the market closes above this, I'm just going to refine into the entry time frame. I was using it just for the time frame of the structure. So when the market closes above here, actually I took my trade around here. So this is when you take your trade from this point here. When the market closes above here, that's when you're going to take your trade, and this is going to be your target. Now for intraday, I advise minimally you do 1 to 2, even if you're scalping, so that at least your risk to reward ratio is okay, right? Now, scalpers here, you'll already be in your trade and you'll be heading for your target. Remember, I told you guys, scalpers, this was your entry point. Are we together? And this area here is your target. I mentioned that clearly. I mentioned you that this is your entry type. This is your entry levels of scalpers, and this is for intraday. This was our entry level, right? Now, let's see how the trade moves. So you can see when it reaches this area here, it reacts. Why? Because we had reactions here from small time frames for the case of those scalpers, right? Now, you can see the trade continued to move just upwards because it has broken this level here. Let's see if we had a retest here before hitting that level there. All right, let me just play it so I don't have to. You can see it came back. So if you scalp again, you'd have an opportunity to take your trade again from this area here, right? So remember, scalpers, in our explanation, I gave you 2 levels. I gave you this level here, level 1, and I gave you this as level 2. So scalpers, you'd have a few minutes into this trade here to here, right? Then also you'd have more trades from here to this level here. I mentioned that clearly, right? So I hope you guys have understood the rules. Now, this is just for replaying. You know, a real trader, you're not supposed to replay. Let's just remove this and then we see the real time frame, right? Remember, let me just remind you, the first thing you're supposed to do is to mark in daily the immediate turning point. Then you go to the H4 for direction. How is the market moving? If it's moving upwards, let it first touch the upper level you've marked. If it's moving down, let's first touch the downer level that you've marked, right? Guys, this is pure price action that you do even when you're swinging. That is the same thing that we do here. Watch even the previous videos, the same thing. The only difference here, the only thing that we are changing here is the time frame, so that you can come out of the trade quickly if you're scalping, or if you're doing intraday, you can be in just few hours. You don't want to have the trade overnight, right? So let's try to do it on something different. This one also, we looked at it. USDJPY, actually, we have team members who traded it. Personally, I didn't trade this one here because I love trading the card. Now let's look at this here. Let's assume that currently this is our current price. Remember I said I'm going to give you an example, then I also will look at the current price. Now, if you look at the current price here on USDJPY, right? The current price, what do you observe? We have a turning point here, right? I don't like this color, I'll just make it red. We have a turning point here, right? This area here. And another turning point that we do have is this one at the market, that the market just broke over, right? So that's the first thing you have to do in there. And then after that, you go to H4 for the direction, right? Then when you come to H4, we're going to adjust, right? If this thing needs to be adjusted, now in this case, it does not need to be adjusted, unless if you just want to remove the slab and you put two lines. I've taught you guys how to mark support and resistance. Unless you want to do that, then you can mark this area like this. So currently, we can observe the market has broken above this area. There's a possibility of it coming to retest. Then also down here, we saw that the market broke above a certain level, tested, but not a proper retest. So the direction is like the market has to first come either into this zone before going upwards, or even it can break lower, retest, and then come here before going into this area here. But all in all, we are wanting the market to reach here. If not, the market is let me just repeat, the market has to come and retest here before going upwards. That's a direction. Remember, I said H4 for direction. So this one, you're going to practice it on your end, back test it with this live market, right? This is a live market. I'm doing it when the price is moving. You can see on my right, the price is moving, right? So it's the first thing you can use to backtest. I know traders are very lazy. They don't want backtest. So that's why I've done it this way. Backtest using USDJPY, the same method. So either the market is going to come, let it change trend from here. Let it, remember here, when the market is coming down, it's already making lower lows and lower highs. Let it stop making that, and then you can take your trade. Do not take a trade when the market just touches here. I've mentioned that just in the recent videos. Please watch our videos. They're related, right? Then if the market breaks this point and retests it in a weak way, then you know that I'm going to take my trade up to down here. If you just want to trade a continuation, then wait for the market to come down here. When it stops making lower lows and lower highs, then you can take your trade up to here. So as for scalpers, your levels will be different. Let's go lower. This is just direction. So let's go to H1, the intraday structure. Now, intraday structure, you can clearly see we have a market that is making lower, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So what do you expect? The market has to retest here. But remember, I said the market has the liberty to even come up to this area here, right? So this whole area here, you can look for change of trend before the market comes up here, right? Now, this is the intraday structure. Now, when you go to the minute 30 structure, which is for scalpers, what do we observe here? You still observe the same thing. We have high, higher low, high, higher low. But of course, we have hidden structures that are not tested here. So meaning there's a possibility of the market actually coming up to inside here or even lower before going higher here. So make sure you keep that in mind. I just want to test if you guys have understood the rules. Of course, you can see the market's coming lower low, lower high. It's going to make lows. If it can change that from here, then you can take your trade up to here. Now, intraday for scalpers, let's add on more levels. For scalpers, let's add on more levels. If the market comes up to here, which level do we see on this side that really held the price tightly? Also, we can see that we have this area here that really held price tightly. So I can just change it to green. You can have that as your first level. If it changes trend from here, your first target is this. Remember, scalpers were in trades for minutes. So we can have that, then you can finish with this level and this level here. So you can have all these as your targets, right? So also, if I'm sure that people are saying, what about trend line people and all that? So trend line people, so you can add on your trend line here like this. I'll also teach you guys how to use properly trend lines. Most of you don't know how to use trend lines. We shall speak about them or we shall schedule a video and make it go public shortly. So you can have all these as confluences. Remember, you have all this area here for the market to change trend. It's not a must for it to change trend from here. It can change trend from in between here or even here. If it takes out this level, that's when there's a problem, that there's a likely that's going to continue down. So that is it. I hope you guys utilize this. Same method we have been using, just difference in time frames. I hope this makes sense. Have a great time.